Welcome to another episode of Addicted to the Q. We are live from the American Royal World Series of Barbecue. I'm Brad, that's Brian. We have a special guest tonight, Rick Brown. I will let him introduce himself and tell him about himself because he'll do way better than I will. So, starting, what kind of background do you have in barbecue?
Well, I've been doing this for 34 years. I started out writing cookbooks, and I've written 16 cookbooks about barbecue. Then I went into television and created and hosted a show called Barbecue America for 7 years on PBS, and then did a show called Ready, Aim, Grill on the Outdoor Channel for 2 years, where I worked with fishermen and hunters how to grill up whatever they brought home. So I've been doing this for a long time. I do a lot of columns. I've been a judge. I've judged at all the major contests. I'm a certified KCBS judge, and just love what I'm doing.
So, what made you get started in barbecue? What was your deciding?
Made me get started. I love barbecuing at home, and I made every mistake known to man. I put the barbecue sauce on too early and burned it. I cooked raw chicken, did just about everything you can do wrong. And I'm a photojournalist, and I got an assignment to photograph Kansas City for an article about Kansas City. And I came here not knowing anything about Kansas City and discovered the barbecue culture here is astounding. And I was invited to go to a small barbecue contest and went. I think there were like 40 teams. And I was pretty impressed. But then my guide, who is Carolyn Wells, who at that time was president of KCBS, says, "Oh, this is nothing. You should come back in October to the Royal." And I said, "What's the Royal?" And she says, "The world's largest barbecue contest." So I'm thinking, 100 people, something like that. Convinced the magazine and the writer to hold off on the story until October. Came back, and there were like 200 teams. Well, today, I believe there's almost 500 teams. It has grown a lot. And was fascinated, and I told the writer, I said, we should do a cookbook and share some light on this subculture of barbecue people. They're like gypsies, only they do barbecue. And he said, get us a contract and I'll be glad to write it. So I took about 6 months, but I got a contract through Time Life Books. And they said, yeah, we want this book. So we wrote the book called Barbecue America. It was a pretty big success because it was the first book like that just about barbecue. Just like my TV show, Barbecue America, was the first show nationally about barbecue and barbecue competitions. The first one. There was nothing else. Now, geez, you get on the internet or TV and there's probably 10 barbecue shows. But mine was the first. And we traveled in 7 years to all 50 states. And then the last 2 years, we went to 26 countries around the world, documenting how they do grilling and barbecue. Went to Asia, Australia, France, everywhere, South America, and really showed what the world thinks about barbecue. And back then, there weren't nearly as many contests. When I started, I think the first year there was something like 40 contests in the US. Well, I'll bet today there are 40 a month in the US. And other countries are picking up on it or getting their own barbecue contests that have been going. I'm the U.S. associate for a German barbecue magazine called Fire and Food, which is the largest barbecue magazine in all of Europe. And I'm writing stories for them about American barbecue to go along with their European barbecue. And in the spring, they're trying to bring together a printed magazine in America called Fire and Food, and I would be involved in that. So I try and spread the gospel of barbecue all over the world. In Uruguay, there was a press conference, and I demonstrated beer butt chicken, and they were fascinated. Beer butt chicken, and they thought that was hilarious. And then I did the same thing in France with a very famous chef, only he would not have me doing beer butt chicken. He filled a can with champagne. So we did champagne butt chicken. So I've sort of been a barbecue ambassador literally all around the world. And I wear a red and white tablecloth shirt that I had made, custom made. And I've been known for that for the last 10 years or so. So they are giving me an unbelievable honor of putting me in the Barbecue Hall of Fame. I'm thrilled because there's some wonderful people in there. But I also know a lot of other people that deserve to be in the Barbecue Hall of Fame. So I'm going to be an advocate spokesman for them.
We can hear that music good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Really amplified that.
You said Food and Fire magazine from Germany.
Fire and Food.
Fire and Food. Do you know Hawk Blackburn by chance?
No.
He was over there. He lives over there, Netherlands, Germany, something like that. And he was mentioning to me about that magazine and when it was first getting going and going out over there everywhere. He's now at a TV show called The Taste. He's
In Germany?
Yes. He's a contestant on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, he
Well, I started in the U.S. magazine called Barbecue America. We had 2 issues, and it's a beautiful magazine with all sorts of beautiful color photography and recipes and anecdotal stories and history of barbecue. And what happened is that
He's going next door, tell him to turn down the music. You can't tell we're live from the American World at all.
yeah,
So, while we're waiting, you said of all 50 states, which one had the most interesting barbecue? That was probably unlike anywhere else.
I have to say, well, Hawaii is pretty interesting, but also parts of the South in Owensboro, Kentucky.
Yep.
They do lamb, and a lot of Americans don't like lamb because during the Second World War, the troops were fed lamb in Europe, and it was cooked the devil out of it. So it was like eating your shoe. So they built in this resistance to lamb. So Americans eat far less lamb than any other population on earth. But in Owensboro, Kentucky, they have a lamb festival with a black barbecue sauce that is incredible. And what they do, they line the streets. They make barbecue pits with cinder blocks and sand down the whole main street. And everybody cooks tons of lamb. And then you can buy it. And they have contests for it, just like the Royal. They have a contest for the lamb. That's a very interesting sight. And of course, in other parts of the world, they do barbecue. Everybody grills. Everybody. I mean, in Japan, if you go to a restaurant and have them grill something, what's presented looks like a work of art.
Have you met Weekend Bum Barbecue?
Pardon?
Have you met the Weekend Bum Barbecue?
No.
He does not know how to grill.
Little local humor. Little local humor from the guy who set up the interview.
I don't know. He went over to the Netherlands, did a contest, and got 3rd overall. So I guess the U.S. flavors is okay over there.
Well, just down the road is a team from Costa Rica.
Yeah.
A little gal and her husband. They just went to the Jack, and they've got little simple barbecues, Weber's, and maybe there's a chimney smoker or something. They just won 2 events at the Jack.
It's crazy. Yeah. Everyone grills, barbecues. They have their different ways they do it compared to how a lot of us do stuff. But it's amazing. Like, we went to Hawaii once and just seeing how they do a lot of pig roast, the old Hawaiian way that, like, their history.
In the ground with the banana leaves and the volcanic rocks. And I did that. I was over there and they had me help set it up and cook. It was fantastic. And I cooked a whole hog in New York City for 40 food writers who'd never had anything like that. They were amazed that you didn't need a ton of rubs and spices and sauces. It tasted fantastic coming out of the fire. So barbecue has literally been my life for the last 35 years.
Have you competed at all, or just done
I have never competed. I'm scared poopless to compete. Oh, I take that back. I was invited twice. I'm a barbecue guy. All my books about barbecue, but they have everything in the appetizers, desserts, and everything else. I was invited twice because I qualified for the World Food Championships dessert category. And I placed 3rd with a blue barb tart, and I placed 4th or 5th with a Bananas Foster baked Alaska. So, if you like to cook, it isn't just meat, it's all aspects.
Cook is cook. I mean, we this is about barbecue. We all love it. But even we take this podcast at home and we'll just cook and not eat barbecue.
Yeah.
We're doing it in the oven. Like, let's show you guys something.
Exactly. Well, that's what the magic of barbecue. I have 2 gals that I know in the state of Washington. They qualified through a contest in the state of Washington, the Washington State Championship. They went to the Jack with 2 Weber kettle grills, and they won 2 categories. Now, the Jack is in the heart of the South, and those good old boys saw those 2 young gals come in with 2 Webers and walk away with the prizes. Yeah. It was awesome.
Yeah, Harry Sue did that on, what was it, 1 Weber kettle?
Yeah, I think, yeah. So it's like a camera. I've been a photographer for years. I've owned every kind of camera from a Hasselblad to Leica. Has had some awards, got a Pulitzer nomination for one of my pictures. But it's not the camera. It's your eye and your timing. These cell phones nowadays, you can get incredible. I have pictures in every one of my cookbooks that are from a cell phone, the new ones. You can't tell. It's quality, but it's not the camera and it's not the barbecue grill. It's the passion that you put into it that makes you an award winner. And you see here, $100,000 rigs right down the road. And you see people with a couple of Webers, see a couple of, well, maybe not this guy, but you see people, you see people with drums. I've seen more drums here than I've ever seen at a barbecue event. That's the one thing I've never cooked on is a drum. I've cooked on electric, solar, charcoal, wood, and the new thing now is this live fire barbecue, which I haven't done much of. They do in South America. And there's a barbecue restaurant in Ecuador. Uruguay. It's an old railroad station. You walk in, and there are 17 barbecue restaurants inside, and they're all cooking over live fire. The smell when you walk in there is astounding, because that really brings up the scent of the barbecue, the cooking meat and everything.
So what was the Barbecue Hall of Fame nomination, the whole process? What was that like? How'd that go?
Well, somebody put my name in, and I had talked to somebody a number of years ago about the possibility, and I sent them some information, my background, my resume and things. I don't know if that ever went anywhere, but somebody put my name in, and then they vote. They have 10 nominations. I'm pretty well known in the business, but they had 10 nominations. And then I got a call that they decide on a date, a certain date. So my wife and I are up looking at the computer in the morning, and they say they're going to announce one every hour. Well, number 10, or the fourth one comes up. Okay. A couple hours later, the third one comes up. A couple hours later, the second one comes up. And then I realized there's nobody left. It must be me. And it was. I was astounded. Because the people that are in that Hall of Fame are people that are the bastions of barbecue.
Yeah.
And they've helped create barbecue. They've helped make it what it is today. And today it's a phenomenon. I mean, look at this. Think of how many teams are here about their big rigs or their small rigs. The amount of money they spend on the parties that they hold for the chance of winning money.
Yeah.
Do you know the odds for 467 teams for one person to win the championship?
I was telling my son when we were just coming back to pick him up, I go, 500 teams. These aren't just a team that says, I'm going to go cook the American Grill. This is every team here has the chance to walk out champion.
Yep.
If I cook it and I finish midway in the pack, I'm ecstatic.
This is the best of the best.
Yeah.
It's like the Royal, or it's like the Jack. To qualify and have your name put in a hat, you have to have won a state championship at least.
Yeah.
So those are the best of the best of the best.
Yeah.
And still the odds are so small, but whole families have made their lives like gypsies, barbecue gypsies. They go around the country and they compete, and if they win, great. And as a judge, there are times when you wonder who are the other judges at your table if they know what they're doing. That's why KCBS has this master judge and certified judge. It evens things out more. But it's so, I don't know what the word, it's just so iconic for people to have their food put in front of 6 judges. And somebody was talking earlier about they got 7 perfect scores or something. That's astounding.
Yeah.
You got 7 people who all have their own taste buds.
It's 1 year, was it 3 years ago? Something like on dessert. It was the top vote, perfect 180. And I was like, that's a lot of coin flips.
But coin flips, I think they have a computerized thing that they go through each of the judges' score sheets.
Yeah.
And somebody may have given them a 8 and somebody else gave them all 9s or something like that, or some fraction of 8. But it's the quality of barbecue. But I have to say, Americans tend to think that we are the brightest in the barbecue world, that we're the only ones that do it, and we do it better than anybody. Boy, you should travel to Brazil and see what they do, or Uruguay, or Argentina, or
We did last year I did a what's barbecue mean to you, kind of just walking around, but with it I did the history, and the history shows going way back 1700s how it started in the Caribbean.
yes,
So when we're like, oh, we know
Captain Cook,
yes,
and they called it barbacoa,
correct.
and it was a wooden frames that they put the meat on and the fire underneath. So they were doing open flame barbecue quite a while ago.
Way before,
Yeah.
And I'm like, we may know what we're doing, but if you look at this history, you need to travel to these countries because they've been doing it.
Yeah, but we've refined it and do a lot of things spectacularly. But so does the rest of the world. Just appreciate your own culture's contribution to barbecue. But for heaven's sakes, travel and try somebody else's grilling or how they prepare food, it'll boggle your mind.
We do that whenever we travel to a different country. And like one of these is going to be a form of a barbecue place.
Yeah.
Belize, Jamaica, you name it.
Oh, Jamaica, man. The
original
jerk.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's like what I've had here and what I've had there doesn't even compare to there. It's beyond belief. It's
I have to caution you about one place in America not to go expecting good barbecue. Nome, Alaska. They have barbecue or potlucks, and I was invited to one as a journalist, and I went, and I saw this plate of something, and I could smell it halfway across the room, and I said, "What's that?" "Oh, it's grilled seal." I said, "Okay, grilled seal." But what they didn't tell me was the real name of the dish is called stink flipper. They kill a seal. Yeah, I like your reaction. They kill a seal, they cut off the flippers, they bury them in the sand for about 6 months, dig them up, grill them, and eat them. I don't suggest that.
No, that sounds absolutely disgusting.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
I said that sounds absolutely disgusting.
It was phenomenal. It got as far as this and no further. But I've tried everything. In Asia, I've tried all sorts of frog fat, and various fish, and all sorts of game birds that I never thought I'd ever eat, and everything, and snake. And
is there anything you won't try?
I'm sorry?
Is there anything you won't try? Like if somebody hands you a plate, or is there anything you're like, no, can't do it?
Not usually. I mean, they have 1,000-year eggs there that are cured in horse urine and ashes, and it has a very unique taste. Shark fin soup is a big thing, ceremonial thing. Oh my God, it tastes like glutinous rope, and I'll try it once. I may not finish it or try it again, but there's so much variety out there. One of the things that I look forward to is that contests like this is the different kinds of rubs and sauces that people are using. It doesn't always have, your barbecue rub doesn't always have to have paprika in it. It can have a lot of other things, cumin or coriander, or, go with it, play with it. The worst that can happen is you say, "Oh, I won't do that again." But places like this and contests, unfortunately, a lot of contests seem to present the same kind of, let's say, chicken thighs. From one to the other, they look the same. I don't know how to beat that other than try new spices, new rubs, put in a different kind of vinegar in your sauce than you normally use or something. But it's such an adventure coming here, trying all this wonderful barbecue. But people have no idea of the size of this event. None. I mean, it's mind-boggling to see this many people dedicating part of their lives to producing fantastic food for other people.
That's for sure. So, it's over here. I'm trying to think of new. So, if you could pick a restaurant in the U.S., that would be your absolute favorite place to eat barbecue.
A barbecue place where?
Like in the U.S. You had to pick one.
Oh, now you're getting me in trouble. Well, I arrived last night or yesterday afternoon with my son, and we drove immediately to downtown Kansas City to Jack Stack. Tomorrow, we're going to go, on the way out, we're going to Arthur Bryant's, because that was my first barbecue here. And as you know, people either love or don't love Arthur Bryant's. Their sauce is a little different, but there are so many good places here. I don't know if there's a guy that I think it was called LC's
Yes.
out near the stadium. Is he still?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
he's
man.
up there.
Yeah.
Texas crowd.
Oh, yeah. Great. I mean, there's here. And then in Memphis, there's quite a few fantastic places too. I mean, now these days, you can get world-class barbecue just about anywhere in the United States. It's no longer a purview just of the South, because people have learned and brought the recipes and tried. And it's, I don't know the count of barbecue restaurants now as opposed to, say, 10 years ago, but I bet it's tripled. And most of them are pretty damn good.
Where do you reside at?
I live in Medford, Oregon, which is not barbecue heaven. No. I used to live in Portland, and there were some great places in Portland. And we may be moving back to the Bay Area, and of course the Bay Area with Oakland and that area, there's a lot of really great barbecue places. But in Medford, where I live, I'm sorry, Medford, to say this, but
It doesn't strike me as a barbecue capital.
no. And they have places to do barbecue, and yeah, they have places.
Nice.
That's about all I can say about it.
Awesome.
I want to go and do a Texas barbecue too.
Well, go to Austin.
I've been to Franklin's.
No, I said go to Austin.
What?
There's a hell of a lot of good barbecues around there. Mueller's. You've got Jack Black's barbecue that was started in 1946. You've got L.A. barbecue in Austin. I've been to Franklin. It's pretty damn good. But there are a lot of other places in that area that are pretty good too.
Have you tried Snow's?
No, I have not tried Snow's.
I'm listening to try.
I've probably eaten at 5,000 barbecue restaurants in the last 25 years. And I appreciate special places like Black's. If you like beef ribs, go to Black's. One beef rib's almost like a quarter or a half a pound of meat on it.
Yeah.
And well, I was saying here, LC's. When I first came to Kansas City and went there, they're cooking on a simple barbecue. That stuff was amazing. And then you've got the Oklahoma Joe's, or it's now KC Joe's. I know Jeff Staney, who runs that. I also know the old Oklahoma Joe, who started with his grills. And people that live in the Kansas City area or the Memphis area and parts of North Carolina are rich in barbecue. And whenever I got to make a trip there, the first thing I got to do is go eat some of the real barbecue.
Yeah. Yep.
You got anything?
Okay, guys. Well, thank you.
Well, thank you, guys. Thank you
We
for coming
appreciate
on.
it
for
very
sure.
much. Pleasure.
We appreciate
The
it.
problem is getting me started or talking is getting me to stop talking.
Well, hey, congratulations
Yes.
on the Hall of Fame.
Well, thank you. Unfortunately, they tell me I only have 5 minutes to speak. So I'll compress it down because it is my passion.
Yeah.
And part of it is meeting people like you guys.
Yeah.
Well, maybe, yeah, you guys.
Oh, yeah. Just meeting everybody out here, walking around, meeting people that are new that you.
And they're so friendly and sharing. I see a barbecue team's out of coriander or cumin. The guy next door says, I have some that I just got back from India. Whoa.
Yeah, I can use my mic muted feedback.
Okay, guys. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you for putting up with our first trial run. So
No worries. I hope it works. I
Yes.
hope that nobody cancels their subscriptions because of it. So you have that
it wouldn't
guy
be
on?
because of you. Thank
If
you.
you have that guy on?
Awesome. Thank you.